Coming at you live right after the final buzzer. The Knicks, despite playing the lowly Brooklyn Nets, despite beating the Nets by 53 points the last time these two teams played, and despite New York earning its 14th straight victory over Brooklyn tonight, notice how I said New York over Brooklyn, yep, more on that later. The Knicks barely hang on and defeat Brooklyn tonight in a game they probably should not have won. This is Chris Sachi. This is the Sachi Sports Takes podcast. Here I go again. Making excuses for the New York Knicks. Okay? First of all, this team, despite winning tonight 93-92, is still one of the worst teams since the All-Star break when it comes to the first quarter. And in the past, I've scapegoated Josh Hart's lack of shooting ability as the issue for the starting lineup, right? But in the two games that Josh Hart has not started since the All-Star break, the Knicks have had two of their worst first quarters of the season. If you don't recall, the Knicks gave up almost 40 points in Utah against the Jazz a couple weeks back. And then, actually that was just a week ago, if we're really being honest here, about a week and a half ago. And then Josh Hart doesn't start tonight after a Knicks high 33 points 2 nights ago. Josh missing the game due to a knee injury. And the Knicks have their worst offensive half of the season. And we're down 22-14 after the first 12 minutes. And Mike Brown, in his post-game press conferences, has seemed exacerbated. He has seemed at his wit's end with what this Knicks team has done in the first quarters this season and the slow starts they've had. And yet, the question I'm going to ask right now to you, the fans, and to myself, because I'm about to try and answer it, right? What is going to change to help this Knicks team get out to a stronger start? Because the slow starts that you have against Utah and Brooklyn, you can overcome those if you're the New York Knicks, right? But when you're in a playoff matchup and every single minute counts, and every single quarter counts, and every single possession counts, heck, every single dribble counts, right? Every little thing is so important. You cannot expect to win I wouldn't even say you can win the first round with the way the Knicks are starting here as a unit. We've mentioned it throughout this podcast's history. The Knicks starting five this year is just 0.5 points as a net rating. It's not good at all, okay? For the 5 highest paid players on the team, you want them to perform better, all right? So that's the overall issue. But again, with Landry Shamet starting tonight, who did get injured, more on that later as well. Call that a tease in the business. So listen for the end on the Shamet injury issues, the Josh Hart injury that he missed today, how that affects everything, right? The Knicks actually close with Mohamed Diawara tonight. Interesting stuff there. But this Knicks team, again, won't make an ounce of noise in the playoffs if they don't shape up here and start better, right? And I made the analogy before. I'm going to make it again. We had a pitcher with his Savannah Bananas, and he tended to start very slowly. His first innings would be very poor, and then after the first inning, from 2 onward, from however long he was on the bump, was one of the best pitchers in the sport. So something was up with him starting the game, right? Whether it's mental, physical, whatever it might be. He had to change his routine. And ever since that season, that was 3 seasons ago now, he's been one of the best pitchers in the sport in the first inning and throughout the rest of the game. So this Knicks team has to change something. And I'm not boots on the ground. I'm not in New York City. I'm not in wherever the Knicks might be, watching how they practice, watching how they prepare, watching their intensity to start the game, right? I'm not there. I'm not doing that, right? So here's what I can draw from. When is Mike Brown going to shake things up? Now, I know this is the NBA. These players are paid a lot of money to do what they do. They're professionals, okay? It's not like back in the 50s when Casey Stengel, let's say, managed the Mets, or managed the Yankees, I should say. He later did manage the New York Mets. Or maybe Billy Martin, who was one of Casey's prodigies. You know, when the Yankees would struggle, what Casey would do is, instead of the normal 1 through 9, you know, you have Mansell batting third, you know, whatever you might want to do. Billy's batting maybe either second or lower in the order, he's going to switch everything up. And, in Billy Martin's case as well, Billy was managing, hey, Reggie's batting fourth, third, whatever. He would Thurman Munson's in the he would get, and Billy got this from Casey, because Billy Martin played for Casey Stengel. I know I'm making a lot of points here. I'm getting to it. They would put 9 names in the hat and pick it out. Okay, this is the lineup today. Even if it's the catcher. Thurman, you're batting leadoff. Okay, Reggie, you're batting second. That's how they would do it. That's not going to happen now. Things are different now, okay? And in my mind, I go to drastic measures. I go, he should, the next time the Knicks play, which is against the Washington Wizards, let's start all 5 bench guys. Let's start Clarkson. Let's start Shamet. Let's start, Diawara. Let's start Hukporti and Robinson. And, that's craziness, but that just as a theory. If it really sticks it to the starters and shows what's wrong, that's never going to happen, right? Like this isn't college or even high school level where you can do those sort of crazy things. You probably can't even do that in college anymore. Let's be honest, with the NIL and transfer and everything else. Maybe in high school you could do that. I think if I was a high school coach, I'd probably do something like that. If my really talented team started slow against inferior talent, I think that's what I would do, right? That's not going to happen, right? But there are things you can even change in the midst of the game. Here's the thing I've noticed recently with Mike Brown and the New York Knicks rotation. After the Knicks do get the win, 93-92 over the Brooklyn Nets in a game they should not have won. And the slow start is a huge reason why. And that's been a trend all season, especially as of late. And like I said off the top, the Knicks will not win a single playoff series if they keep starting games this way. So, Mike Brown recently has played Jalen Brunson the whole first quarter, right? Karl Towns is going to come out for Mitchell Robinson. OG Anunoby is going to come out for Diawara or Shamet. In this case, since Shamet started, change things up a little bit, right? But MB, Mike Brown, I put this in my notes, is going to play JB, Jalen Brunson, the whole first quarter no matter what. Even though Brunson in the first quarter, the captain, was scoreless, had no assists, and was a team worst -7. So, if you're going to look at your star player, right, as the best player on the team, and he's not playing well, and you know that you're in the post-game press conferences telling us, Mike, that you can't stand the way this team is starting, why would you not change anything up? That smells like the issues that we face with Tom Thibodeau. That feels like one of the reasons why Tom Thibodeau is no longer coaching the New York Knicks, which, by the way, under Tom, they never started this slowly, right? One of the reasons Thibodeau is no longer here is because he was rigid in his game plans and did not adjust. And now Mike Brown was brought in as a guy who's going to adjust, he's going to make changes, the Knicks are going to have a better pace. By the way, that hasn't happened yet. The Knicks are still bottom 10 in pace this season. They're going to jack up more threes. That they have done, to Mike Brown's credit. Their offense is going to be better. That they have done, to Mike Brown's credit. But what's exciting about Mike Brown as a Knicks fan is that most of the time he has been able to adjust. He's been able to make changes. Why in the world would you not adjust this situation and not take Jalen Brunson out of the game? And not only that, Brunson started the second quarter, despite being a team worst -7, and despite going scoreless and assistless in period number 1. Just think about that. A guy like Jalen Brunson, who's one of the highest usage players in the NBA, did not have a single point or assist, had no points responsible for. That's a stat, right? Points responsible for. That's part of the reason how you get the usage rate stat, right? So, doing a little typing here. Going to go to the player usage tab of the NBA and look up usage rate, right? Jalen Brunson is the top 22 in usage rate in the NBA. And he's higher than that because you have some players here who have only played one game. So I would like to sort this by qualified players. Please pardon my pardon my French. Pardon my research here. But when you remove guys like Mark Sears, okay, I'm just gonna do it, right? Bump, 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 4, 5. So Jalen Brunson's a top 16 player in usage rate, right? So maybe top 15, okay? That's what I'm going to say. based upon this research, eliminating guys who do not qualify. If for him to have no points and assists in the first quarter, why would you not deviate from the game plan if you're Mike Brown? So that's bad. Also, this Knicks team, lowest point total of any quarter with just 14. I talked about not doing anything drastic. Mike Brown's not going to change the starting five, right? But this team, that lethargic start leaked into the rest of the game, too. Like, the Knicks had a season high in turnovers tonight. They had abominable. Let's see, this says 10 turnovers. That cannot be correct. Oh, that's because there we go. The Knicks had 17 turnovers tonight, which is the second highest of the season behind the 22 that they had in hosting, I should say, the Sacramento Kings. They allowed Brooklyn to shoot 14 of 38 from 3. The Knicks themselves shot 8 of 29 from 3. I'm exasperated, all right? Talk about bad habits. Talk about being lethargic. Late in the, I should say mid to late in the fourth quarter, Brunson airballed a shot, and it led to a Nets run out and dunk right off the rip. Now, this is a Nets team that the Knicks beat by 54 the last time they played in January, and really sparked their run. That's helped them become one of the best teams in the NBA ever since the dip after the NBA Cup. Just unbelievable what's been going on with this Knicks team, right? You start down 22-14 in the first quarter. You don't take the lead until the second half after that. When are they going to start hot? When are they going to... And it's easy for me to say, right? But when are the Knicks going to make a change here to prevent this from happening? Because they're not going to make any noise if they do this. If they keep it up, all right? So I know I'm repeating myself. I'm exasperated. Here I am. I'm in the local beach, Coconuts, Jersey. They're playing the Bananas this weekend in San Diego. I was having a great time working today. Got back. I was like, okay, the Knicks, I'm going to watch the Knicks. My dad's watching the Knicks. Shout out my dad, because the Knicks are on MSG, which, as an Xfinity carrier of his cable, my dad can't watch the Knicks because Xfinity and MSG have not struck a deal together. But the Nets and Knicks were on Yes tonight. Yes is the Nets channel, and he was able to watch the game. And we were texting back and forth towards the end, and he said at 6:39 Pacific time, get to watch Knicks Nets on Yes. I love the message. He said, sloppy game. And he was right. The Knicks didn't... And the thing he said at the end is that JB restored order, which is also correct. The Knicks did not play crisp tonight. They did not play sharp. They're playing a Nets team who is starting 4 G League players besides Nick Claxton, right? All their players had spent some time in the G League this season. And I'm just exasperated. And I know this hasn't been my sharpest pod, right? I just can't believe what's going on. Now, to the Knicks' credit, to Jalen Brunson's credit, mostly, he turned it on at the end, okay? He made 2 huge buckets at the end to score 4 points. He assisted to Karl Anthony Towns a basket. And by the way, Karl Anthony Towns was by far the best player in this game with 26 points and 15 rebounds. By the way, I'm going to say this right now to the camera. Karl Anthony Towns has been the best player for the Knicks since the All-Star break. It is not Jalen Brunson. Karl Anthony Towns is the Knicks' best player right now. More on that in a little bit. But kind of like Carmelo Anthony, when he was with the Knicks, he, especially towards the latter half of his Knicks tenure, he had some bad shooting nights. I mean, Brunson finished 7 of 19. But to both of those guys' credit, when push comes to shove, they will get buckets when they need to. And the mantra of this team as of late has been figure out a way. As Clyde Frazier said tonight in the broadcast, shout out to Clyde. He's unbelievable to listen to. He's awesome. I love him so much. Make a way. The Knicks made a way tonight because they did not deserve to win this game. But they figured it out. And just like Carmelo Anthony, I remember a time when he had a game winner in Minnesota, and he was like 3 of 17 on the night, but then still pulled his jab step, boom, 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 and hit the long 2 to give the Knicks a lead that they would win on, right? So both of those guys, as captains of the Knicks, will find a way. But for the Knicks to need to find a way against this Brooklyn Nets team, it's pretty deplorable. It's not good. It's not promising. It's worrisome. And again, this Knicks team won't win a first-round series with the way they're starting these games. So I mentioned I'm wearing the jersey, right? I'm in San Diego. I was like watching this game. I was going to go for a walk, watch the game, catch the sunset out here. And this Knicks game was close, and I just couldn't do that. I had to come out and react live to the game in the hotel room and talk to you guys. Because how in the world was this game so close? The Knicks had sloppy effort all night. And again, like I said off the top, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make excuses for the Knicks. But what excuses can I have? Because this was a road game in Brooklyn. What is it? I used to do that. I used to take the subway from right near MSG, Manhattan, down to Brooklyn. It would take about 45 minutes. I'm sure they have way better, travel than, what I did, taking the subway, right? So there are no excuses for New York, all right? It's just unbelievable how much, again, that I've had to really defend this team. And so it's just unbelievable to me that this happened. The Knicks need to start better. And again, when is the change going to happen? Mike Brown has hinted that he's not going to change the starting lineup. But even when injuries have forced a change for him, this Knicks team has not responded. They have not started better. And so that's where you look at coaching. That's where you look at different issues and say, okay, when is this going to shape up? By the way, wanted to mention the Landry Shamet thing. I love Landry Shamet. He has been one of the best bench players the Knicks have had all year. By far the most consistent. But let's be honest, this guy, over his last 3 games, including today where he left after only playing 22 minutes, Landry's taken 15 threes, he's made 5. Okay, after shooting, actually that's shots in total. So he's 30% from the field, and he's taken, doing live math here on the air, he's taken 15 threes, he's made 3 of them. So 3 of 15. For a guy who's shooting 39% from the field this year overall, even including those 3 games, not been good as of late. Had a knee injury come up a couple weeks back. It looks like he's tweaked that same knee injury. So it's the right knee, the same one that he injured a couple weeks back that he's been dealing with. And it's just it's just something to keep an eye on, especially with the fact that it wasn't like he was held out of this game like Josh Hart was, for maintenance. He had to come out of this game after trying to play. So something to keep an eye on, especially because if this guy's got to miss any time, it's going to be worrisome because his 3-and-D presence is something the Knicks don't have elsewhere on this team. And it's worrisome. It's really worrisome. So keep an eye on any. I'm literally going to be scouring the internet as much as I possibly can to look at Landry Shamet reports, and you got to hope and pray. 1, for the personal safety of him and his well-being, and 2, how much the personal safety and well-being of the Knicks with Landry Shamet, how important he is to this team. So that's it. Landry's been a guy who's been injury-prone in his Knicks career, and so you got to hope this is not something that is going to linger for him. So that's the takeaway. Josh Hart should be back soon. Landry Shamet, you don't know. And if the Knicks miss one or both of these guys, they're also cooked. Let's be honest. I mean, Mo Diawara, as talented as a 20-year-old rookie is maybe not capable yet of starting an NBA playoff game. And you've seen inconsistent play from Jordan Clarkson, from Tyler Kolek, from Jose Alvarado, who's supposed to give this team a much-needed boost. And despite some hot games to start his Knicks tenure, had kind of another so-so night with 2 turnovers and 2 points and 2 assists and a minus 11 in 13 minutes, and was on the floor for partially the time that the Knicks gave up a 15-0 run to Brooklyn and did not score in 5 minutes. So weird game. Like my dad said, sloppy game. A 15-0 Nets run in the fourth quarter. The Nets were winning 85-84 with 4:10 to play. Also, let's be honest and let's be transparent about what the Nets were doing. They were benching a lot of their starters in this game because they did not want to win. They wanted to have a better draft pick, and the Knicks still barely won. So, not good for the Knicks. You look at the Knicks; they were outscored 14-22 in the first quarter, and outscored 18-27 in the fourth quarter. Not going to cut it. Not going to cut it against the best teams in the NBA in the playoffs. This is the Sachi Sports Takes podcast. It's been a blast. Thank you for joining, and sorry I didn't have more fun today. I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed me getting in on the Knicks here because it's concerning. I'm going to take the walk that I said I was going to and catch the sunset. It is dark now, but it's okay. San Diego, pretty good city, beautiful city. Weather's awesome. I'm going to do that after I upload this podcast. I love you guys. I'll be back. The Knicks play the Wizards in 2 days. And then things get tough after they also play the Pelicans, who've won 5 of 6. Let's kind of give you the rundown, the skinny here of what's coming up, both for me and the Knicks. So, Wizards Sunday night, Pelicans Tuesday night, and then they play the Red Hot Hornets in Charlotte on Thursday. Play the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder next Sunday. And then you play the Houston Rockets, who gave the Knicks a really good game, although the Knicks did come back and win next Tuesday. So things get easy, and then they get tough again for New York. And again, we're going to look at the standings real fast. New York is 46-25. Of course, they did get the win tonight, but not necessarily encouraging. 1 point, 93-92 over the Nets. So Knicks a game and a half back of Boston. 4 games back of, the Knicks are 5.5 games back of Detroit, who just lost Cade Cunningham. So didn't touch on that yet in today's podcast, but that's an interesting one too. And what's also, that could really affect Detroit, if we're being honest. I mean, Cade Cunningham's been one of the best players in the NBA this season, right? So having him out is concerning, right? And when you look at the standings, I mean, maybe Boston and New York catches Detroit. It may not be enough time to do that, but you also look at the top 5 of the East here, and all these teams are playing good ball. Cavs have won 2 in a row. Raptors have won 3 in a row. Knicks have won 5 in a row. Celtics won 4 in a row. Pistons won 3 in a row, right? So for anything to change it, the Knicks really have to play some strong ball because the teams below them are playing really strong. And the teams above them, Boston's still holding on, and Detroit, despite losing their best guy, has built a 5.5 game lead of equity over New York. And so for the Knicks to contend for a top seed, they really need to ratchet it up here. And again, the way this Knicks team started tonight, they have no business winning an NBA playoff series. This is the Sachi Sports Takes podcast. I'm going to let you go. I love you guys. And I'll catch you on Tuesday when the Knicks play the Wizards. And I hope I can go for that sunset walk and not have to worry about this Knicks team against the worst team in basketball. We'll see. And once again, Chris Sachi on the Sachi Sports Takes podcast. Talk to you guys real soon. I love you.